Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. Speaking here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. Today's video, I'm continuing my series, ranking my 100 favorite movies of the 1980s. Yeah, series I've been doing for a little while here. This is due to a fellow YouTuber named Ryan from Real Talks with Ryan. He won my Oscar predicting contest this last year, and so he wanted me to rank movies in the 80s, so I did this kind of for him. Hopefully he's enjoying this series, and he knows some of these movies, hopefully, and enjoy them. Yeah, besides that, we're getting to my top 20, so we're getting towards the end of my my list here. So we're doing 20 through 11, so yeah, getting close. Just 2 more videos here, and we'll finish out the 80s. And yeah, these are definitely my personal favorites. These are some of these movies, I'm sure you're like, really? This is top 20? It's like, yeah, I have nostalgia for them. They're movies I might have watched as a kid, and I still really enjoy today. Yeah, so you'll see what I have here. Hopefully you agree with some of these, and some of these I think you will, but some of these you might question. But it's my list, so this is what I really love. So let's get to it here on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing well here on a Monday afternoon. Hopefully you'll have a good start of the week here. It's raining today here in Leavenworth. Been raining pretty much all morning, so it's that kind of morning. But yeah, getting to my top 20 favorite movies of the 1980s. So let's get with number 20, which is definitely a personal favorite. As a kid who loved martial arts movies, this is one of my favorite. And so at number 20, I have Bloodsport. Yeah, Bloodsport is a movie that's it wasn't reviewed very well. If you go on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm sure it has a really low rating percentage, and I can understand that. There are some parts of it that you can kind of go, well, this wasn't acted very well, maybe, or whatever, you know, or the story doesn't make a lot of sense at times. It's just a fun movie. I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme is at his prime. I say his prime, this is his first like big movie that he got to star in. And it's my favorite movie of his. And I was a big fan of his as a kid. Anytime a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie came on, you know, TNT or USA, one of those channels, I would stop what I was doing and watch it. I was a huge fan of his. And this, maybe the first movie I saw of his, this or Lionheart. I remember those being kind of 2 big movies I saw first, and just really, that's where I became a big fan of his. And this still, yeah, my favorite of his, of that. It's definitely one of those movies that came a lot. I remember it feels like this is one of those, I don't know if it's still today, but it's one of those movies, like I said, you know, TBS, TNT, USA, one of those stations would play this quite a lot. And so anytime it came on TV, I was like, I'm watching this now. I just couldn't get enough of Bloodsport. Besides the fact that the name is one of the greatest names I think ever given to a movie, Bloodsport. Just seeing that name Bloodsport, you're like, oh, I gotta watch this. There's something going on here. And like I said, I watched anything that had martial arts in it. Anytime there was hand-to-hand fighting, like I was there. I wanted to watch it. So this is more of a tournament fighting style movie. They're into this Kumite tournament where you don't fight to death, but you fight to basically knock the other person out, or they have to quit. And so it's a pretty brutal hand-to-hand, you know, martial arts fighting tournament. They have fighters from, what I love about the movie, and I don't know if this is maybe the first time I've really seen this done, is they bring fighters from different, you know, countries, and they have their own fighting styles. So it was really cool. Probably one of my favorite parts of the movie is that you get to see people with different fighting styles depending on what area they are. You know, if you're in, you know, China, you're doing like Kung Fu. If you're in Japan, you're doing maybe karate. If you're in Brazil, you're doing kickboxing, or not kickboxing, but you're doing one of their, now I'm forgetting the name of their style. But if you're in Thailand, you're doing kickboxing. You know, so it just depends on what region you're from is the style. And so it was really cool to see the different fighting styles go against each other and go, how would it work? People with different fighting styles. It was a really cool idea. I've seen it done here. It's funny, Jean-Claude Van Damme did another movie that was kind of almost like a remake, called like, I think it was called Mythic Quest or something, or The Quest. I think it was called The Quest, and it had a very similar style to it as this movie, and not as iconic, but I kind of like that. And I usually martial arts. I usually like more of the uh, not tournament style, but just like you're out in the world and you get attacked by multiple people and you have to fight them off. I'm more into that style, but not into tournament style. Is definitely a unique, martial arts type film where you're just concentrating on two people fighting. Instead of like I said, it's funner when you have multiple people fighting at the same time. But I think it's harder to make a good movie like this where you just have two fighters, duking it out. But if you do it right, it can be very good. And I think they do a pretty good job in this movie. Like I said, John Van Damme is so good. I mean, he looks so great in this role. He's not a good actor, but he doesn't have to be. But how flexible he's like the most flexible martial artist I've ever seen. The way he does his kicks and everything, does the splits. Of course, he's so famous for. Bolo Young as Chong Li is such a good villain. He doesn't hardly have any lines, but he doesn't have to. He just looks menacing. He has this menacing look on his face, a little bit of a scar, I think, maybe on his face, but he's very muscle bound. And it's crazy because he's not that young either. He's kind of older in this role, but he's just so in shape. And so that final fight is always so good between the two, I think. One of the best final fights I've ever seen in a film. Yeah, it's just pure fun, I think. And it's maybe a guilty pleasure, but man, I still just get a kick out of this movie, Bloodsport. So that's a number 20. Number 19, I've got On Golden Pond. And this is a really interesting drama from like 81, I think, starring Katharine Hepburn and Henry Fonda and Jane Fonda, which of course Jane Fonda is the real daughter of Henry Fonda, and they play father and daughter in this movie. And all they're kind of at Golden Pond is kind of the name of this like kind of summer home that the Henry Fonda and Katharine Hepburn are a married couple, and Jane Fonda plays their daughter in the movie. And so they kind of go to this cabin like on this lake. It's very beautiful. This lake they call it Golden Pond, and he goes out fishing and stuff like that. And they have a boat, and it's all about being older because Henry Fonda and Katharine Hepburn are really like, I don't know, getting their late 70s or something. They're getting their 70s at this point, maybe getting close to 80. And so they're having, Henry Fonda's character is having trouble, like memories and getting around is a little bit harder. And so there's a lot about, you're getting older and, thinking about, end of life, that kind of stuff. And so, and that you can't do things as good as you used to and how that can be depressing. So it kind of deals with that kind of issues with him. It's interesting. A lot of times he's not a likable character. The Henry Fonda character, he can be a real jerk. But at times he's really funny too. He has a very funny, sarcastic humor, but he does have bits of rage that make you not like him at times. But, through the movie, you kind of learn more about him, and that and what you like about him is that he develops this relationship with this boy who lives with him because Jane Fonda, the daughter, is marrying this guy played by Dabney Coleman, and Dabney Coleman has a son from another relationship. And so they go off kind of on a vacation kind of together, I guess, and they leave them with Dabney Coleman's son. So at first you're like, there's no way this relationship's going to work. This young, kind of bratty kid. I say young, he's probably like a young teenager. And you got this old cranky guy. And so you're thinking, no way this works. But then it's cool how they kind of form this grandson type relationship and really get close during this, I don't know, months together or whatever that they're spending. And it's just a movie with some really good performances. Both Henry Fonda and Katharine Hepburn won Oscars for Best Actor and Best Actress. It was really cool because Henry Fonda, this was his first Oscar win, and he's one of my favorite actors. And of course, he made so many big movies, all from the 30s. So he was been acting for such a long time and giving such great performances. It's crazy that he was never nominated before, or he's nominated once before, I think, for The Grapes of Wrath back in 41, but or 40, maybe 1940 or something like that. And then you get this performance, and he finally gets an Oscar, and I think he dies a couple months after he wins the Oscar. So he's really at the end of his life. So it almost felt like this movie was resembled his life in some senses. Like he was getting older, But it was really nice to see him get the Oscar. Captain Hepburn, this is actually 4th Oscar. The only actress to have 4 Best Actress Oscars. So this is her just, going way overboard, just showing herself as one of the greatest actresses of all time. But yeah, really good performance by both of them. Jane Fonda also really good here. And the best part of this movie, I have to mention, is in real life they had a strange relationship, Henry and Jane Fonda. And in this movie, they're basically mirroring the characters in this movie, because the characters in the movie also have a strange father-daughter relationship. And man, there's this moment where they kind of make up a little bit. They go, we've had they kind of had this heart-to-heart moment about, they haven't gone along for a long time, but she wants to get along with her father and stuff like this. And it's a very emotional moment, and it feels like it's real, because it's like, this is a real father-daughter, playing a father and daughter, but having this emotional, I don't know, it's just incredible when you know all the information and you're watching it going, it feels like this is not fake, this is real emotions coming out of these two, actresses, about real life. Anyway, so to me, that's just incredible how it just mirrors real life for those two. And I mean, both are amazing. I think Henry Fonda and Jane Fonda, both amazing actors in themselves. And so that's really cool. But yeah, it's a movie that has some drama, a lot of drama, has a lot of humor though to it as well. And just how it establishes, the relationships between, when you get older and stuff like that. And it's a very heartwarming ending to it, I think, that really makes you happy. So yeah, I highly recommend On Golden Pond here. Number 19 on my list. Number 18, I've got Project A. Going back to martial arts movies, this is one of my favorite Jackie Chan movies. Project A came out in 1983, starring Jackie Chan. He also directed and wrote the screenplay. So I mean, I'm a huge fan of Jackie Chan. I was on a channel, Anthony Perez's channel, doing a debate, and I argued that Jackie Chan is the best action hero of the 80s. I lost the debate, but I still hold on to, I think Jackie Chan is almost underrated. No one talks about how good he is. And like I said, he not only acts in these movies, he does his own stunts, crazy stunts, by the way. Also probably choreographs all the fight scenes. He's directing the movies. He wrote them. I mean, he just does everything. Like, no, I can't point another action star of the 80s that could do what he does here. And this is such a fun movie. And I love these movies because not only you have some great martial arts scenes, besides Project A, or by the way, Project A, it takes place kind of early, I want to say 1900s in Hong Kong. And so they're dressed kind of like English. They have kind of an English look to them because I think they're owned by England at that time. And so it's kind of interesting, the old style of the movie. It kind of looks like, they're in Hong Kong, but they have a very English look to them, the way they dress and everything. And he's basically like in the Navy, but then it's out, and the bad guy's like a pirate, so it deals with pirates, but there's really not a lot of pirates fighting until the very end, and then they fight pirates. But they're kind of dealing with pirates. They're also dealing with like a kind of a kingpin, drug kingpin also they're trying to catch, because he then joins like the police force in the movie, and they're going after this other guy, and they're connected with the pirates, and so there's the whole story there of connection. But yeah, what's fun is that Jackie Chan is with two other cast members that he was like best friends with in real life. Sammo Hung, who was another great martial arts actor and director, and Bio, I can't say his name probably right, but I want to say it's like Bio Yuen or something like that. And the three of them actually went through Chinese opera together. So they actually grew up together and were good friends. And so it's cool. Anytime, and they've done a couple movies together. Anytime those three are in a movie together, it's great. So I love seeing those three together because they're all three really great martial artists and actors, and all do the martial arts and the comedy very well. And that's what I love about this movie. It's a martial arts movie, but it's also very funny at times. And Jackie Chan does so well with action comedies, I think. There's one incredible stunt where he's fighting on top of like a clock tower, and he has to fall off the clock tower, and it's a long drop, and he really did it. I mean, there's no stunts, there's no wires. He really fell and had to hit these canopies to slow him down, and he basically lands on his head. It's like, I don't know how he survived and didn't die. So, but yeah, the stunt work, the martial arts stuff, amazing, really fun movie. Highly recommend it. Even if you're not a big martial arts guy, I think it's a fun movie to watch anyway. So Project A here at number 18. Number 17, I'm going with Spaceballs. Spaceballs is one of my favorite parody movies, coming from Mel Brooks, who wrote the movie and has a or has a small role in it as Yogurt, kind of a Yoda parody. Of course, he's so great. I did a Mel Gibson, Mel Brooks. I did a ranking of his movies on my channel. I'm a big fan of Mel Brooks movies and the parody style. And this is, of course, parodying Star Wars, and Star Wars is one of my favorite, one of the biggest genre or biggest franchises of all time. One of my favorite franchises. So, of course, I love this. I love this parodying one of my favorite franchises. Bill Pullman's in here. John Candy is great as Barf, half dog, half man. He's his own best friend. I love that line. But yeah, it's a really good parody of Star Wars. Rick Moranis really steals the show as Dark Helmet, doing a Vader parody. His scenes are very funny. Of course, I love this style because they only make fun of Star Wars, make fun of other sci-fi stuff, and very clever stuff in there. And also a lot of fourth wall breaking, a lot of meta humor. I love that style. So this is one of his best and always one of my favorites. As a kid, I couldn't get enough of this. Still love this. I have it on DVD. Still watch it a lot. So yeah, Spaceballs at number 17. Number 16, I'm going with Robocop. Yeah, this is one that I never thought would be one that would be one of my favorites because it is incredibly violent. In fact, there are scenes in this movie that I can't watch. I fast forward it, or I don't have it on DVD, so I actually don't have watched it on DVD. But if I'm watching it on TV, I'm definitely like, closing my eyes, or I'm like, getting past that part. Because yeah, it's a little too violent at times for me. I don't like that part of the movie, but it's a classic, obviously. It's an action classic, and I know it's a big fan favorite. A lot of people really like this movie, and you would think I'd be one that'd be like, nah, it's a little too violent. I don't like it, but the story is so good, I think. I think actually really has a cool story and a cool character arc for the main character, and and of course some great shootout action scenes as well, and just a great look. The RoboCop, just the costuming or whatever you want to say, makeup work of the RoboCop character, I think is so good. Such an iconic character, and he looks so cool when he walks out. And he's very robotic, and he's silver, and the gun comes out of his hip, and he has like a fully automatic like pistol. And there's some great scenes in this movie, but the story, I love the story of this guy who, against his will, he's dying, so they make him into this RoboCop, mostly like a robotic. He's somewhat human, but half human, half robot. And I mean, it's a great futuristic sci-fi style story, but I love how he forgets his humanity, but then he starts remembering that he was a human being. And that's when the story gets so good, when he goes back and tries to remember his life before. And he's, and I love the way he talks, stay out of trouble. He just got this great, the way he says his lines are just so good. And there's some great lines in this movie as well. But I love how he remembers like the guys who like tried to kill him, and he's trying to get revenge. So he still has that memories of, these bad guys he wants to get revenge against. And then I just love at the, he's RoboCop or whatever, I think. And then at the end, he remembers his real name, and then he says, I'm Murphy. I think his name was Murphy. Instead of saying I'm RoboCop, at the end he's like, I'm Murphy. It's such a great moment. I know I'm spoiling the movie, but man, that's a great moment where it's like, oh, he remembers his humanity. Anyways, so yeah, overall, like not only just a cool action movie, but a really, really good story that is really enjoyable and very well done. So I have RoboCop here at number 16 on my list. At number 15, I have The Three Amigos. You might be saying, really? Three Amigos at number 15? It's a bit silly at times. It's kind of stupid at times. I don't care. I absolutely love this comedy. I used to watch this when I was really young. I was really young when I first started watching this movie. and fell in love with it as a kid. I thought it was just absolutely hilarious. And so it definitely a lot of nostalgia, but still, I have the Blu-ray and I still watch and get. I also have the soundtrack on vinyl. I bought it at Barnes and Nobles. I'm such a fan of this movie. But I mean, you got three comedy legends of the time. I mean, with Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, and Martin Short, I mean, all three could carry a movie. And to have those three in one movie is so great. It's so great to watch. And yeah, I think it's absolutely hilarious. I love the whole premise that they are actors that play these characters, the three Amigos, and they have like a franchise or something. And this Mexican town thinks they're real gunfighters, and they hire them to come help them with this bandit named El Guapo, who is like really mean to them. And so they hire them. They think they're there to put on a show, but then they realize. Then when they realize that, oh no, they're actually in danger, that these people actually are murderers, and that, you know, this isn't a show. That is so funny when they figure that out, and they're like, oh no, we're actors, we're not gunfighters. But then they decide to try to be heroic and try to, because El Guapo kidnaps a bunch of the women, takes them back to their place, so they go try to get the women back, and they know they're going to have this head-to-head fight with El Guapo and his men. And so they kind of turn heroic, even though they're just actors and kind of stupid. But there's so many iconic scenes to go through this movie. Absolutely love it. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. The Three Amigos, one of the best comedies of the 80s. So, and one of my favorites. So it's here at number 15. Number 14, I got the Dead Poets Society. This is a really good coming of age drama, kind of. I say coming of age. I mean, because it's about, you know, these, I think they're in high school, they're high school boys. They come from like rich families, and they like are going to this boarding school that are for, for people that want to, I guess, have important jobs or something, or it's because these, like I said, they come from like pretty wealthy families that, want them to be probably lawyers and doctors and who knows what. And, so it's pretty, elite. It's like an elite school that these kids are going to, and very pressured. They're very pressured. And of course, they have all the hormones of teenage boys. They want to be with girls and they want to live life, and they're kind of somewhat sheltered because of their life from their parents are kind of, they have no freedom. Their parents like tell them what to do, and they kind of don't have, get to pick what they want to do in life. Of course, you get the great Robin Williams here playing their English teacher who teaches them about poetry and stuff. And it really just teaches them about, live life. And of course, carpe diem is the big word here. Seize the day, saying, you only have a short amount of life, seize every day. Like, I don't know if it's like it's your last, or just, don't let a day go to waste, and so it's such an influence on these kids of like, because they feel like they don't have that in their lives, and here this teacher's telling them to, seize the day. And it's so cool how it changes their lives. Robin Williams, one of his best performances, maybe my favorite Robin Williams performance. He's very funny, but he's not overly funny because it's not a comedy, but yet he still brings some of that humor that he has. But yet also just a great dramatic performance as well. And just the scenes where he's from the class doing his lessons, oh my gosh, they are so good. That's what really makes this movie, I think, is Robin Williams. I won't go too much detail except to say the ending is so good. It's one of the best endings, iconic, very emotional ending. That gets me every time. Love it. Love Robin Williams here. And just love that, it's a story about not letting, don't waste your life, do what you want to do. So anyway, so yeah, great drama. Dead Poet Society, number 14. Number 13, I have Rain Man. Rain Man, one of my favorite movies. And this won Best Picture, I think in like around 88 or so. So very popular movie, did very well. And one of the best performances I've ever seen, in Dustin Hoffman playing the kind of one of the main characters, playing Raymond, kind of the title character, who's autistic. And man, does he really, again, Hoffman just really embodies, like, you forget that's Hoffman. It's like, that's Hoffman? It just feels like this is Raymond. This is, this autistic guy in his 40s or whatever. And I think he did such a good job just capturing that kind of character that, I don't know if we've seen too many autistic, people on screen before this movie, but I think he really nailed it and has some great moments, I would go down and say it's one of my favorite performances of all time. Uh, he won Best Actor for a good reason. This one Best Picture. Tom Cruise though is very good too, and this is Tom Cruise again, late '80s. This is before he became an action star with the Mission Impossible, and he was doing these like kind of movies like this where they're kind of a mixture of drama and comedy. Because I like Tom Cruise in that he is good at bringing comedy in his roles, and here he's kind of unlikable. He's actually a bit of a jerk, but again, because he does develop this relationship with his brother. The whole thing is Raymond is his brother. He kind of kidnaps him because the father dies and leaves a lot of their fortune to the brother. So he kind of kidnaps him. He never knew he had a brother either. So it's kind of interesting. So they don't really have a relationship. So he's kind of developed his relationship while he's on the road with, and of course he annoys the heck out of him as he would. Uh, and of course so he's trying to, I don't know, ransom him for money. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but because he didn't like his father at all, Tom Cruise. And so, but yeah, I love the relationship that they developed because at the beginning they're kind of strangers, but at the end there's a love that they both have for each other, and you really feel for the two characters. And Tom Cruise, like I said, his character goes from very unlikable to being likable at the end, so it's a really good character arc for him, for sure. Like I said, it has a good emotional scenes, and it's very funny at times. So yeah, it's a great movie. Rain Man here at number 13. Number 12, I have my favorite Jackie Chan movie, Police Story. Yeah, so Project A and Police Story, both top 20 movies. Like I said, Jackie Chan's my favorite action star of the 80s, I would say. And these are two of his best movies from this period. Like I said, he was just killing it as far as like, again, this is a movie where he starred in it. He also directed it. He might have wrote it too. I'm not sure about this one, but I know Project A did. So I wouldn't be surprised if he wrote it too. So, and he does his own stunts. It's just crazy. But yeah, it's a cool story of him. Is Of course, he's a police officer and he's trying to get this, again, this drug kingpin. And he kind of, he has to like protect this girl who like was in the gang, whatever. But they're trying to make it look like they're trying to take him to trial, but so they're trying to make it look like she's gonna like backstab them. So then they're afraid that like this gang is gonna try to kill her because she might talk and give information that might hurt them. So he's kind of protecting her, and so he gets attacked while protecting her. And he even gets framed at one point. So this whole frame thing where now he's like on the run. So overall, it's like a pretty cool story. I'm Jack Chan again. Some great action sequences at the very beginning. He gets on this bus because the bad guy's on a bus, and he's got just a umbrella, and he's hanging on in real life, like he's hanging on the bus on this umbrella. It's just a crazy action sequence. But the best scene is the very end when they have to fight in the mall, and he's trying to get to this accountant that has, I think, information that they could use against this guy. And they're trying to get this briefcase, and all these bad guys are attacking Jackie Chan. And there's lots of glass breaking. It's like the best scene because he's just throwing people through glass because they're at a mall and there's a lot of glass cases and stuff. It's one of the best action scenes I've ever seen. Like I said, this is my favorite Jackie Chan movie, one of my favorite action movies of all time. Because that's such a good climatic scene. And he has a great stunt where he has to get on this pole and he has to slide down this pole from a long distance and fall down. It's a really dangerous stunt that he does, and pretty good stuff. And it's very funny at times too. Again, I love when he puts comedy into these action movies. So yeah, definitely check out Police Story. It's such a good movie. Here, number 12 on my list. And to end this list today at number 11, we're going to go with Back to the Future 2. As you know, I'm a huge fan of the Back to the Future movies. One of my favorite trilogies of all time, for sure. And a lot of people don't like this. And a lot of people, I think, maybe downgrade this quite a bit because it's not as good as the first one. And even though it's not as good as the first one, it's still a really good movie and a really interesting movie. And it's because, when you do a sequel, you don't want to repeat what you did in the first movie necessarily, even though you might say it does that in some points. But you want it to do more, and this does more because there's a lot more time traveling. In the first movie, there's only one you time travel from 85 to 55. This movie, uh, you not only you go in the future. You start off going in the future to 2015, I think, which is crazy. 2015 is the future in this movie. And so it's cool because I love when they're in the future and you get this idea of like, this is what we think the future is going to be like, back in the 80s, this is our idea. So those scenes are so fun to kind of, come up with ideas of what the future is going to be. And so that's great. And then they go from that and they go back to an alternative version of 1985 because Biff is now like this rich guy who's evil. And so you have this whole really terrible alternate 85 scene, which is really cool. And then they go back to 1955 to stop Biff from getting the sports almanac that will, cause the alternate 1985. So I know I love that. I love that this movie time travels in the future and in the past. And you also get this idea of what if someone changes to the past and now 1985 is different or whatever it is. Maybe it's not. Yes, I guess it's still 1985. But the idea that you make changes in the past and now you're living in a different future. I don't know. It's such a cool idea for time travel. And again, I love the characters. Doc and Marty are great. Biff is a great villain. It's fun. It's adventurous. It's still a really great movie. I still really love this movie. It's my second favorite in the franchise or in the trilogy, and I like all three quite a bit anyway. So say that I like Back to the Future better. So you spoil my list. You're going to see Back to the Future in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. But this is so good. The second movie is almost good enough to get in my top 10. Just barely misses out, and it ends here at number 11. So that's my list for today, 20 through 11. Please comment if you've seen these movies. Are they movies that you like as well? Love to read any comments and appreciate anybody that does. Besides that, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for liking it. Thank you so much for my subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate you all and I hope you have a good day.